Karpathos Island, part of the Dodecanese island group, is nestled between the coasts of Turkey and Greece. A refuge from sea storms dating back centuries, the island has had numerous cultures living on its land. Karpathos is home to dreamlike beaches, quaint towns, impressive nature settings, and a culture born from a combination of different populations having lived on the island in past times. While in Karpathos, you can experience the marvelous beaches and all the riches the island has to offer. We will adventure through the island as we are accompanied by its locals. Who better than them to lead us through the island? Join us as we explore Karpathos. As dawn approaches, there are some that are already working on fixing the nets. The sea in Karpathos is a fundamental resource for everybody here. Excited to visit the island's splendid beaches, we will explore the island's coasts by gullet, the typical boat used on this side of the Mediterranean. The water's colour is a deep blue, and we can make out the wonders and beauties under the surface level. There are about 200 beaches on the island, half of which are reachable by car, others by foot, and some only by sea. Nikos, an expert on the island's beautiful landscapes, takes us to discover some of them. The beach of Kirapanaya is considered to be one of the island's prettiest. It's the typical postcard setting that you'd expect from Karpathos, where the church with the red roof overlooks the hills and the beach at its feet. Not far from the beach, we discover the St. Lucas Church, which dates back to the 12th century. The marvellous frescoes adorning the walls speak the tales of the past. Our journey to discover the prettiest beaches on the island continues from the beach of Apela, considered as one of the most beautiful beaches in the Mediterranean. Protected by the winds of Meltemi for most of the year, the beach is surrounded by a thriving pine forest that highlights the contrast between its green and the blue waters of the beach. Despite the Meltemi, a wind that blows from the northwest to this part of the Aegean Sea, the summer heat is very much felt, and there is nothing better than a nice dip to cool off. A breathtaking sight greets us as soon as we enter the coast's inlets. The crystal clear water cannot hide the beauty of the rich seabed below us, even if several meters away. All this moving around has made us hungry, and Nikos brings us to Mikalis, chef and owner of a restaurant on the coast, to discover some typical and traditional recipes of the island. Once the fish have been coated in flour, they are then cooked and fried in the pan, after which, once the oil has drained, they are then seasoned with oregano and are cooked further with wine-based vinegar. After the appetizer, here is the main course. First, Mikalis stews the onions, waits for them to turn brown, at which he then proceeds to add tomato puree and aromatic herbs. Once this is done, the fish is added and left to cook for a few minutes before being served. All that's left now is to taste it.
So today I will have gavros yachni. This is cooked with tomato sauce and fresh onions. And also bokfish marinated with rosemary and vinegar. Στην υγειά μας, καλή όρεξη.
The best way to discover the riches that Karpathos' sea has to offer is to explore it ourselves. Dinos and his crew welcome us at Karpathos' diving center to show us the beauties hidden underwater.
Hello guys, my name is Dino Protopapas and I am the owner of the diving center. We are here with Christine, which is a diving instructor. She has been working here in Karpathos and in other places, and she will tell you about diving in Karpathos.
Karpathos is amazing for diving. The visibility is the clearest water I've ever seen. If you're in the middle of the water, it feels like you're flying. And you have such a variety of underwater landscape. It's really breathtaking. You have what looks like mountains underwater. You have walls, you have caves. You have like a labyrinth that you can swim through and get lost under. And you also have a lot of shore dives, boat dives, different shipwrecks.
Every moment is good for a dive, and here at the diving center they're always ready to go. Today they will bring us to Castellia Bay, a diving spot suited for everybody.
Castellia Bay is very easy to get to, so we can leave from the dive shop and it takes about 10-15 minutes. But what's perfect about it is it's very protected in the bay from the wind, so it's very easy to go there all year round. You can make 3 or 4 different types of dive around this location. So if you've been there before, you'll always have a new experience. You know already with diving you have a different experience every time. That you can go around the reef. On the east side, you can go out and around the rock deeper down. On the west, you can stay in the bay if you're completely new. You can swim out on the surface and start the dive from very deep, further away, if you're more experienced. So it's a very diverse site. Anybody can dive here. That's the best thing about it. We can easily go to a bay. In that bay, you can take your first steps out to the ocean. You can go onto your knees, practice clearing the mast, clearing the regulator, get very comfortable. And then we can take you around as you start to go deeper and build the confidence. Even while you're doing that, people that are more advanced can go diving deeper and look for the schools of sea bream and discover the depths, because you don't have to go far to go very deep here. So you could even explore trying out technical diving and different things like this. We can make a boat trip when the weather's nice to go to the wreck near Dirfani, and that's really awesome. My favorite thing about diving in Karpathos is that you can go somewhere that's still rugged and natural. If we do a night dive and we've been to Ahata, you drive down the road and you feel like you're discovering the bay. Nobody's there. The stars are around you like a dome. And then you go out and do the dive and all the small creatures have come out. You discover so much. The clarity of the water is incredible. The fish here, there is cuttlefish. There's also sea bream. There's many shrimp. If you go on a night dive, you'll see lots of scorpion fish. You'll find octopus hiding and swimming around. And you can also play with the luminescence, which is my favorite. And we have some fish that have come in as the waters have got warmer. They've come across from the Red Sea, such as the lionfish and also the trumpet fish.
Now is the time to leave the coast and move on to discover the beauty that lies in the island's hinterland. Michalis, who has been part of the conservation of island traditions for years, takes us to discover the village of Olympos, a true stronghold of Karpathos folklore and culture.
It's a long way from the capital. It's about 1.5 hours to arrive. The landscape, it's amazing, it's incredible. The pictures, you pass through the nice beaches and nice mountains and green, and then like it's worth of the drive to the village. So south is flat, and you go to the middle, that's more mountainy. You can start tasting the green and the high mountains, because you also enter to the area, to the propods of the highest mountain of Karpathos. Slowly you come, and you can see that the east coast is different than the west coast. More tradition, more deep like feeling of tradition, and more pure Karpathos you can face to the start from the middle of the island to the north, because that we are out of the cosmopolitic activities and out of the mass tourism, out of the technology and the new style of life. Olympos is built in top of the mountain. The reason what we know, it's because of the pirates, so to get protected the locals from the pirate attacks. Olympos is still keep the tradition. This tradition goes from the generation to generation.
Today, the village of Olympos still shows the world the secular traditions that it has treasured. Walking through the narrow streets, every corner speaks of passion and tradition, which is also reflected in the locals' houses.
Here it's you can see the typical traditional house of Olympos. Similar to the southern Karpathos, with some changes. And here's a full light traditional dressed It's in black, mostly darker colors. And so what you see, it's a fully decorated, fully loaded house. And all these plates and decoration comes from generation to generation. It's really expensive to do a collection in very short time. In the past ages, the kids were sleeping up here.
Don't let the narrow streets fool you, as they are not only home to the splendid houses, but also small artisan shops that call attention to visitors passing by as they make their way to the scenic view from atop the village.
So Yannis learned the job from his father, that his father learned from the grandfather. So it goes from generation to generation.
Yannis is an artisan shoemaker who still makes everything by hand, working with the skills that have been passed on to him by his father and grandfather before him.
Γεια σου Γιάννη, ευχαριστούμε, να είστε καλά, θα τα ξαναπούμε, καλή δουλειά.
Time seems to have stopped here in Olympos. As you make your way through the main road towards the village's main square located at the top of the hill, you will find a maze of secondary narrow streets that look over the splendid panorama of the Aegean Sea. As the tourists start making their way towards their sunset view tables, we are going to see Nikos, a local artist who makes musical instruments and works of art by hand.
My name is Nikos Dais and I'm an artist from Olympos. I'm also a lutaio, the lira, which is the mother of the violin, which you play with archetto, a bow. The lira consists of two parts of wood. You have the back part. The best wood, Greek wood for the back part is gelso. For the front part, we usually use a tidro or a presso, depending on the instrument we are making. And when the lira is done, it sounds like this. On the archetto and Karpathos, because we don't have any drums, you have bells, so you can actually use it to fix the rhythm in our tradition. So my philosophy on making things is using what nature provides. Either my best idea was making Karpathos on a pebble. You use a fresa, you do it in water with the Dremel, and you give the form of the island on a keychain. The idea that every visitor, every tourist come with his own rock and I make it for him or her to create a creation, not something handmade. You make a memory, you don't make just handmade things.
As sunset approaches, the tavern tables are filling up quickly with people getting ready to eat the Karpathos specialities as they enjoy the sunset. Even the Olympos locals don't want to miss this sunset, so we are going to join them. Karpathos isn't only history and folklore. Let us move to the southern coast where Mike and Georgios introduce us to a new, popular activity among the island goers.
Karpathos, I think, is the best choice for people who like to kiteboarding. So this island is unique for kite surfing because the wind possibilities, it's really good for people and for riders, and the atmosphere is perfect. It's so nice to be here.
In this place, from middle of May till middle of October, solid 5 months, we have this Greek kind of wind. We call it meltemi, and it's blowing almost every day, 24/7. So for us, it's a place that we can really give a wind guarantee to our guests. They can come here and they can score a kite surf session almost every day. despite the strong wind every day, also a lot of people that they are not actual kite surfers and they want to try it or learn it in this spot, they can come anytime, they're more than welcome. And then we have this special way of treating them. With here we go out to the open sea directly with a boat, and since the student has the kite on his harness, it's just straight coaching from the instructor. Also, people who already started kite surfing somewhere can visit this place, especially if they like strong wind. They want to do some high jumps, they want to improve their kite level, because this place is offering a lot of alternates. As we have also, we can give some directional surfboard lessons, or even in wind days like this, foil lessons with a hydrofoil, or even personal private coaching to somebody who wants to improve a move or to do a trick or all stuff like this.
Karpathos, it's a part of my, actually, it's my whole life here, and I really, this is the way I feel, and I like the risk to live here and work here, and yeah, it's a kind of dream.
This day is coming to an end, but the island still has many beauties to show us. Secrets hidden in its greenery, ancient cities, pirate villages, cliffs overlooking the turquoise water, home to protected species, and lots of other adventure-calling corners. Come with us to discover Karpathos.